Hello everyone, welcome to Wisec classes. I hope all of you are doing good, and I also hope that you liked my previous video. So in this new video, I'm going to talk about the class of civilization thesis of S.P. Huntington. This lecture is intended to make the students understand the class of civilization thesis of S.P. Huntington. As far as the learning outcome is concerned, it is expected that after attending the lecture, the students would be able to critically appraise the class of civilization thesis of Huntington. So without further ado, let us go to the main section of our discussion. The article, "The Class of Civilizations," written by Samuel P. Huntington, first appeared in the journal Foreign Affairs in 1993. It created heated academic debates about the changing nature of conflicts. In 1996, Huntington wrote a book of the same title, and this time without the question mark. Now, the appeal of Huntington's theory is his attempt to develop an all-encompassing construct that explains not only the conflicts of the present and future, but also the key features of the international political system. Since it also touches upon interstate conflicts, its implications reach beyond international relations. So, as far as prospective world order after Cold War is concerned, broadly two views are seen. One is optimistic and the other pessimistic. The optimistic camp believes that globalization and democratization has brought people closer economically, politically, and culturally. The pessimistic camp focuses on zones of peace and war and clashes among emerging great powers. S.P. Huntington belongs to this pessimistic camp. Now let us look at Huntington's main argument. According to Huntington, the fundamental source of conflict in this new world will not be primarily ideological or primarily economic. The great divisions among humankind and the dominating source of conflict will be cultural. Nation states will remain the most powerful actors in world affairs, but the principal conflicts of global politics will occur between nations and groups of different civilizations. The class of civilizations will dominate global politics. The fault lines between civilizations will be the battle lines of the future. In other words, the conflicts of the future will occur along the cultural lines separating civilizations. According to Huntington, the next world war, if there is one, will be a war between civilizations. So this is the central argument of Huntington. Now he has mentioned about 4 different types of conflicts. Let us look at them. The first one is conflicts among or between kings, conflict among or between nation states. Thirdly, conflict among or between ideologies, and the last one is conflicts among or between civilizations. According to Huntington, conflict between civilizations will be the latest phase in the evolution of conflicts in the modern world. There was a time when conflicts occurred among kings or princes, but after French Revolution, conflicts started among the nation states rather than among the kings. Let us go to the next slide. In 1793, as R.R. Palmer put it, the wars of kings were over. The wars of people had begun. This pattern continued till the end of First World War. Then emerged the conflict of ideologies, first among communism, fascism, Nazism, and liberal democracy. Then between communism and liberal democracy. This got manifested in the Cold War between two superpowers, US and USSR, and their respective camp followers. These conflicts between princes, nation-states, and ideologies were primarily conflicts within Western civilization. This was as true of the Cold War as it was of the World Wars and the earlier wars of the 17th, 18th, and 19th centuries. But the end of the Cold War was a turning point because the center stage of conflict got out of the West. Now, its centerpiece becomes interaction between the West and non-Western civilizations and among non-Western civilizations. Thus emerged, Huntington says, the politics of civilizations. According to him, during the Cold War period, the world was divided into the first, second, and third worlds. Those divisions are no longer relevant. It is now more useful to talk in terms of culture and civilization. But before that, let us look at what these two terms mean. So according to Cambridge Dictionary, culture refers to the way of life, especially the general customs and beliefs of a group of people at a particular time. And civilization means that the human society with its well-developed social organizations or the culture and the way of life of a society or country at a particular period in time. So this is how Cambridge Dictionary defines civilization. Now let us look at how Huntington has defined civilization, or what is his viewpoint on civilization. First of all, he is called civilization as a cultural entity. Then he goes on to define civilization as the highest cultural grouping of people and the broadest level of cultural identity people have, sort of which distinguishes human from other species. It is defined both by common objective elements such as language, history, religion, customs, institutions, and by the subjective self-identification of people. So now let us look at Huntington and his view about nature of civilizations. First, he says that some civilization may consist of a huge number of people and the others may have very limited population. Second, a civilization may include several nation states, as in the case with Western, Latin American, and Arab civilizations, or only one, as in the case with Japanese civilization. Third, civilizations are meaningful entities, and while the lines between them are seldom sharp, they are real. Fourth, civilizations are dynamic. They rise and fall, they divide and merge. And as any student of history knows, civilizations disappear and are buried in the sands of time. For example, we can refer to the Harappan and Mohenjo-daro civilization that vanished with the passage of time. Now, Huntington cites that in a study of history written by Arnold Toynbee, 21 major civilizations have been identified. But out of those 21 civilizations, only 6 of them exist in the contemporary world. Huntington has divided civilizations into 7 or 8 types: Western, Confucian, Japanese, Islamic, Hindu, Slavic Orthodox, Latin American, and possibly African civilization. So Huntington is not very much sure about the last one, so he has added the word possibly before it. Now the fundamental question is, why will civilizations clash? Huntington has formulated a series of arguments to explain his point. First, differences among civilizations are real. These will lead to conflicts with each other. Second, world is becoming smaller and interactions among people of different civilizations are increasing. This will lead to civilization, consciousness, and differences, and ultimately result in conflicts. Thirdly, the processes of economic modernization and social change throughout the world are separating people from long-standing local identities. They also weaken the nation state as a source of identity. In much of the world, religion has moved in to fill this gap, often in the form of movements that are labeled fundamentalists. Such movements are found in the Western Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism, and Hinduism, as well as in Islam. So this is the third reason that Huntington has stated. Fourthly, the growth of civilization consciousness is enhanced by the dual role of the West. On the one hand, the West is at a peak of power. At the same time, however, and perhaps as a result, a return to the roots phenomenon is occurring among non-Western civilizations. Fifthly, cultural characteristics and differences are less mutable and hence easily compromised, and less resolved than political and economic ones. In the former Soviet Union, communists can become Democrats, the rich can become poor, the poor rich, but Russians cannot become Estonians, and Azeris cannot become Armenians. And finally, economic regionalism is increasing, which will reinforce civilization consciousness. On the other hand, economic regionalism may succeed when it is rooted in a common civilization. Huntington says that the clash of civilizations occurs at two levels. At the micro level, adjacent groups along the fault lines between civilizations struggle often violently over the control of territory and each other. At a macro level, states from different civilizations compete for relative military and economic power, struggle over the control of international institutions and third parties, and competitively promote their particular political and religious values. Huntington has also referred to something called kin country syndrome. So this term was coined by A.S.T. Greenway. Huntington has used the term to mean groups or states belonging to one civilization that become involved in war with people from a different civilization, naturally rally support from other members of their own. So, regarding the possibilities of future conflicts, Huntington has said in the future we can expect conflicts to emerge along the major fault lines between civilizations: Orthodox versus Western Christianity and Islam, Muslim versus Hindu, Cynic versus Hindu. Africa and Latin America will remain on the sidelines. Now let us make an appraisal of his thesis. Some have praised Huntington for his predictions about the New Age conflicts, while others have criticized him for othering people of different civilizations. Some of the criticisms of Huntington's class of civilization thesis include: first, his division of civilization into 7 or 8 groups does not have any sound logic. Secondly, critics have said that Huntington could not explain the link between states and civilization. Thirdly, critics have also said that Huntington has underestimated the enduring strength of Western civilization. But in spite of this criticism, it must be stated that Huntington's class of civilization thesis has influenced thinking of public and academics about the world politics in the post-war era. So we may or may not agree with Huntington, but the novelty of his argument cannot be denied. So these are my references that I have used while preparing this lecture, and thank you for watching this video. I hope you liked it.